Over the last couple months, the real estate industry has seen an absolute whirlwind of information. Not only do we have some of the highest interest rates that we've seen in the last decade, and not only are home prices still high in Austin proper, and not only do we have so much inventory right now, but then on top of all of that, we have this ponderous NAR lawsuit settlement. There's been quite a bit of misinformation going around, and I think lots of nebulous information going around, and so many of us are trying to make sense of exactly what this means. Today, I'm going to cover this super hot button item about the NAR settlement, and I also thought it would be a good idea to bring somebody else who works in real estate to get another point of view. So I brought my friend and co-realtor, Rima. Rima is also a realtor here in Austin, and she too has her own real estate YouTube channel about Austin. I will link a link to her channel either somewhere here on the screen or maybe in the description below so you guys can check her out. She's awesome as well. Hey guys, I'm Daphne Quay, your boss lady realtor here in Austin, Texas. And if you're thinking about buying or selling a home in the Austin area, make sure to contact me. My contact information is in the description below. You can also set up a one-on-one video call with me. Just follow the link in the description below. Also, if you're watching my video from anywhere else in the US and you're needing to buy or sell a home in another state, contact me. I can totally hook you up with a badass realtor in your area. I have realtor partners all over the US. Okay. Let's begin. So at a very high level, I think it's important to explain what this NAR settlement is and what it is about. So I have a very brief, non-technical description so you can hop on board and understand what we're talking about. The NAR settlement is about a legal case where the National Association of Realtors and some big real estate companies were accused of keeping fees for buyer agents high. The lawsuit said that these practices made buying and selling a home more expensive for everybody. As part of the settlement, NAR and others agreed to change the rules to make it easier for people to see and negotiate fees, helping to lower the cost for home buyers and sellers. I feel like that's debatable, but that's what we're going to talk about today. So now that we have a general understanding of that, I want to share with you a bit about how we used to, do the home buying process before and how we used to work with buyers before, which before really was like not that long ago, like probably about 25 minutes ago. So here we are now in the future. So essentially what would happen, and Rima, feel free to chime in on this if you do something similarly or differently. I want to hear about it, so just let me know. Okay, so basically a home buyer would come to us and we would do what we would call a home buying consultation, where we ask about them, their family, what their goals are, what the goals are with this property, how long they want to be in the home, talk about price range, talk about style of home, talk about neighborhoods and the schools they were seeking, all of that. And so usually like a 45-minute hour consultation, like an intake that we would do with new clients. From there, I'm sure you do this too, but I would always have my clients get pre-approved with a lender. Once we have that pre-approval, we would just go look at a bunch of homes. Yeah, we would just go look at a bunch of homes. Eventually we would find the home that they liked. We would submit our offer. It would get negotiated. We would go under contract. And then about 30 days later, we would close. That was it in a nutshell.
Yeah, that was the norm. Pretty much. That's what I pretty much did beforehand also with the consultation, showing homes, making sure they're pre-approved. That was the process. So it is a little bit changed from here on.
Yep. So both Rima and I have clients that relocate to Austin from California. And one of the questions that I got a lot from folks from California in particular was, do you need me to sign a buyer representation agreement? Now, I was not particularly heavy on that. I think when we were closer to getting under contract, I would request that my client sign a buyer representation agreement. I feel like in California, it was a lot stronger. Like, you have to have this or I can't work with you. And the reason I bring that up is because literally just a few weeks ago, it wasn't something that we were super concerned about. And now we are.
So right now, what the rules are changing is when you're calling us, we cannot legally go out there and show you a home without a buyer's rep agreement. This is something that's changed. It's going to be getting time for use for us and also for the home buyers. A little bit knowledge is obviously there for us to explain to you that it is necessary for us to have you guys sign the buyer's rep agreement before we even open the door for you and show you guys any of the properties. So don't be shocked when an agent is going out there and telling you that, hey, we cannot show you because we don't have a buyer's rep agreement. That's a new rule, so don't stress out. That's just, the norm right now, we're going to say.
Yeah, definitely. That's the standard now. Also, if you don't know what a buyer's rep agreement is, keep watching all the way to the end because we are going to show you the buyer's representation agreement and break it down, again, kind of on a high level so you know what it looks like and kind of what the norms are and what to expect.
And for those that are still wanting information, you can still do a buyer consultation. Yes, a lot of agents do that. Me and Daphne both together have done buyer's consultation for free. Some people might have a fee on it, but we don't. So buyer consultation is still there. It's just that when we have to show you a property, at the end of the buyer consultation, before showing the property, you will have to sign the buyer's rep agreement.
Yeah, just like Rima said, we are definitely still doing buyer consultations without having to sign anything because we're really just getting to know each other to see if we're a good fit and if we can help.
Yep.
So before, basically what would happen is that you would have a seller who needs to sell their house, and they would hire a selling agent, or a listing agent is what they're called. The listing agent would negotiate the sales fees with the seller, and essentially the buyer's agent fee was included in that percentage. Then that rate of compensation would be shown on the MLS, which is the multiple listing service, which is where all of our real estate data and numbers live. Basically, if there was a percentage listed in the MLS, that means the seller was paying the buyer's agent and we're good to go. That has been industry standard, right? I would say since very long time.
We know,
Because, well, I've been in real estate 12 years this year. How long have you been in real estate?
6 years.
Okay,
Yeah.
So, and my mother has been in real estate since 1998, and it's been that way ever since before she was in real estate. I digress. Okay, and I'm saying all of this so you can get, I guess, a deeper understanding and maybe appreciation for this next portion that we're going to cover. So now the MLS has removed that compensation percentage, so we don't see it. So it becomes slightly more negotiable. So as I said earlier in this video, we're going to show you the buyer representation agreement and explain to you kind of on a high level what it includes, so you know exactly what to expect.
Okay, so here we have the buyer's rep agreement where you guys are going to be signing. It's about a 2-page long agreement right here. There's few sections that I want you to go over. The first one is the property. So what kind of properties are you guys going to be searching? Is it residential, commercial, land, or is it anything different than that? Then there's the section 2, which is the length of the agreement. This part kind of talks about what is the length that you're going to have your agent as a buyer representing you guys. It could be anywhere from 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. It's an agreement between you and the realtor on the length of the agreement you want to work with them.
Question for you.
Yeah.
How long do you put on there usually that you work with clients?
Usually for me, it's kind of like 3 months.
Yeah, I do the same. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fair because I think sometimes people have an idea if they're coming from other states that buying a home is going to take like 5-6 months. And I think once somebody is already pre-approved, they're usually pretty quick. I'd say within a couple weeks, right?
Yeah.
And then we'll close in 30 days, sometimes a little bit less. So I feel like in Austin or Texas in general, the process of buying a home is pretty quick. Mm-hmm. Also, 3 months, I think, gives us enough time to get our ducks in a row, find you the right home. And it's not necessarily like a length of time where you're like over committing and you're basically married to your realtor for life. I think 3 months is real.
Yeah, it's very doable.
Yeah.
Takes a little bit of time to get you guys started and it can be even sooner. So 3 months, I think it's doable.
Yeah.
Okay, and then there's paragraph 6 where it talks about the fees right here.
So in that section, it gives us the option to put a percentage or a dollar amount. I feel like a percentage is probably better. I haven't personally done a dollar amount.
I have not done it either.
Yet?
Yeah.
Anyway, so this is where we decide between you as a buyer and us as your realtor what the percentage will be that we get paid. Now, let's say I'm just throwing out numbers, so don't come at me at the comments. But let's say we put 4% on there, and the selling party is paying 3% commission to the buyer's agent. Then 3% is what we earn. So now let's say we put 3% on that contract, and the selling party is actually paying 4% in buyer's agent commission. This doesn't happen, you guys. That's like very, very rare. But let's just say for this example. Okay, so the selling party is offering 4%. Because the contract says 3%, we stick with 3%, period. Another scenario that is also realistic, I suppose. Let's say in the contract, we say 3%, and the selling party says, I'm going to pay the buyer's agent 2.5%. So we have a couple options here. With that 2.5%, us as a buyer's agent could just say, okay, we're good with that. Or us as a buyer's agent could go back to you as a buyer and be like, yo, our contract says 3%. The selling agent is only giving 2.5%. Do you want to cover the extra 0.5%? And that's kind of where it becomes more negotiable. I think you guys probably understand this is getting a bit more nuance. And this is, I think, largely why this has been such a nebulous topic. It's like there's so many little branches and scenarios that could happen with this thing or that thing in different circumstances. So if you're not confused, let's carry on.
Paragraph number 9 talks about cancellation. This right here, it says either party may cancel this agreement effective upon delivery or written notice to the other party. What do you say about that?
Yeah, so that's another thing that I think is interesting about these buyer rep agreements, because they've always been cancelable? Mm-hmm. Is that a word?
Cancelable.
Okay. And the thing is, like, we've got everything in writing, but if something happens where you as the buyer just can't buy a home anymore, don't want to buy a home anymore, all you basically would need to do is send an email saying, like, I don't want to work with you. And then this whole thing becomes null and void. Like, yes, we've got a 3-month protection period that we're working together, but ultimately, if either party doesn't want to continue the working relationship, it can be terminated pretty easily. Just as an aside, like I said, you're not like super married to a realtor for life.
Yeah, unless you have that realtor that's kind of like, no.
We're not like that. Oh, like, so you love me, baby.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the last portion
is the signatures of all the parties. So buyers are signing, us as the agents and the broker, everybody's signing, and then we've got the buyer's rep agreement, and we're good to go showing some homes,
and that's it. And as an aside, I'm looking at the signature portions in this document. This is a lot of freaking signatures. If you look at our regular contracts, it's just a bunch of initials.
Yeah.
But this asks for your signature, your printed name, the date, your telephone number, and your email. So that's not really like here or there. It's just me being ADD and noticing there's a lot of signature fields.
Okay, we've already said this before. Realtors must sign the buyer's rep agreement before we show you any kind of properties, or else we can get some penalties. What do you say?
Yeah, so I've been listening to a lot of like podcasts and calls, and I've heard a lot of people speak on the matter. They're still like really trying to figure out exactly how they are going to discipline realtors if we don't have these buyer representation agreements signed, but this is generally what I've heard. So when we have a home that's for sale, we put these big blue lock boxes on them. You may have seen them if you've gone to open houses or if you're touring homes already. And basically the selling agent has access to that lockbox, and so does our MLS. So our MLS can go into the lockbox history to see which realtors have shown the home. So they can go in, and then they've got all our contact information, and basically the MLS can call the realtors that have shown the home and say, yo, realtor, you hit this super box on X date with your buyer. Can you please send over the buyer representation agreement to make sure that you are in compliance? And for us as realtors, if we can't produce that, then there could be penalties. I've heard some MLSs are charging like $2,500 for the first offense, and then it can get progressively more. I've also heard that some MLSs are suspending a real estate license for buyer's agents that don't have a buyer representation agreement. So this is an all-encompassing protection for you as the buyer, because you are going into this exactly knowing what the fees are. And also for us as realtors, this is a protection because it says we do have an actual written working relationship. And again, those fees and those costs are outlined before we even start the home showing process.
Yeah.
That was a mouthful.
Yeah.
It's important to note, you guys, like, we're not attorneys, right? But we are trying to stay as up to date with all of this stuff as possible. I do kind of feel like the information can fluctuate from day to day, but I think we're really narrowing in on exactly what's happening. Note that there might be ongoing litigations that might affect the buyer side in the future. This isn't completely done. Also, these changes are still subject to potential legal developments. Like I said, this is still kind of in the air, and we're just kind of working and massaging our way into finding some solid footing with all of this. So I'd be curious to hear what you guys are taking away from this and what you're learning. And I hope this is helpful, and I also hope that it helps set the expectation for what the buying process will look like from now moving forward. Leave a comment in the comment section. I'd really love to hear your thoughts. Keep it respectful. I respond to respectful comments. If you don't have a respectful comment, then I will probably troll you back. But I want to make sure that you guys are learning from our videos, so please just let me know. Super helpful. So we covered a lot of information. Thank you so much, Rima, for hopping on. I think it's really important and very helpful for everyone to have multiple perspectives. So I really appreciate you being here and sharing some of the info that you've taken away. So I hope this was helpful. If you guys are thinking about buying or selling a home in the Austin area, you know you can contact me. My contact information is in the description below. Also, if you are watching me from another state and are needing to buy or sell a home wherever else you might be, reach out. I have realtor partners all over the US who are ready, willing, and able to help. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Daphne Quay, your Boss Lady Realtor.